Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video I'm going to show you how you can display a country list on a recycler view. We'll make the API call using the retrofit with the help of ViewModel, and then we'll download the list and display it on the recycler view. So let's begin by adding the dependencies in our Gradle file. So first of all, we need to add few dependencies like retrofit, and when we add retrofit, so I'm using Retrofit2, and when we add retrofit, along with that we need to add the converter-gson, and this dependency I'm adding. So usually I use glide library, but this is the extension of that, and with the help of this library we'll be able to get the svg file. So normally glide doesn't support svg, so I'm going to use this library. And when I said I'm going to use this library, so we need to add another repository, that is the maven and https.gitpack.io inside our project level build.gradle file. First of all, I am adding another package for our network classes. So inside this retro package, I am creating a file that is for the retro instance. So this class will basically having a companion object. Companion object is similar to the static in Java, and this companion object will having a base URL, and then I'll create a function inside it that will return the retrofit instance. URL, I already have it for you. So here it is. I'm going to make call to this URL, and this function will return us retrofit instance. We'll import it. And here I'm adding the JSON converter factory. And when we make the API call using retro, so we need an interface. So I'm creating another interface with the retro service interface, and inside that we'll define another function with the HTTP type, that is the get here, and we'll define a function. And this function will return a list of some data types. So we'll create a model class. Before that, let's add a complete URL. So v2 will be passed as the parameter. Let's create a model class, or we can say a data class. And you can give any name. I'm giving name as a country model. Inside this data class we'll having the same parameters. So this is the JSON. When we'll be making the API call, so we'll get this, and it has some parameters, so we'll use the same name. Second parameter is going to be, let's get it from this. So this is the flag URL, so it is flag. Next parameter will be display on RecyclerView. Will alpha2 code, that is a 2-digit code for each country, then the capital, and then the region, in which region it belongs. And we'll use the same country model and pass it to our interface. So this interface is also ready now. It's time to create another package that is for our ViewModel. Inside this package we'll be keeping the ViewModel. And since we have our activity name is main activities, I am using the same name for our ViewModel, so that is main activity ViewModel. Now I am defining a live data, mutable live data. On that we'll be setting up some observers inside our main activity. Inside this init block we'll initialize this mutable live data. And now I am creating a function which is going to just return this live data. And now I am creating another function which is responsible for making the API call. So first of all we'll retrieve the retrofit instance which we already created. So this function inside the retro instance class will return us the retro instance. Now with the help of retro instance we'll get the instance of our retro service interface. And this retro service interface instance will return us call, and this is the type of list country model. And then we'll simply enqueue it, and then we'll set up the callback type. It is going to be the list and the country model. And we'll simply override two functions, that is on failure and on response. So this function is called when depends on our API response. So if it is failed, then we get the callback inside our on failure, and if it is on failure, then we'll simply return null, and if it is success, then we'll simply return the data. So our ViewModel is ready now. Time to implement our activity. So first of all let's add a RecyclerView inside our layout file. And now inside our main activity we'll be simply initializing our ViewModel and setting up the linear layout manager and the adapter. So linear layout manager I am adding just to show it the linearly. If you want, you can set it up horizontally, or it's totally up to your requirement, or you can set the grid layout manager. Now I'm creating an adapter package and the class for our adapter, because as we know with the RecyclerView we need an adapter. So this adapter will simply setting up the row on our recycler list. Now we'll simply override three functions. So my view holder is not yet created, so let's create that my view holder class. Now we need data, the way we need to get it from the activity. So it's going to be simple list and type of country model, and we need to have a function where we can set up this data, or we can update this data from outside. And if list is null, then return 0, else return the size of our list. Now we'll implement onCreateViewHolder. So here we'll be inflating our layout file. So first of all, when we are inflating, we need a layout file. So it's time to create a layout file for our RecyclerView row. And in this layout file, I'm simply adding one image view and 2-3 text views just to display the country name, country region, country capital. And this image is just to display the flag of the country. So this text view is for the capital, and another text view is for region. So our layout file is ready. We'll use the same layout file name inside our adapter, and then we'll pass this view to our MyViewHolder. And inside our MyViewHolder class, we'll simply inflate our layouts. That is the first image view, that is for the flag. We'll import it. Second text view is just for the country name. Third text view is for the capital. And fourth one is just for region. And we'll set the data. So we need the country model object. So now we'll set. First let's set the name. And along with this, we'll set the alpha to code here as well inside the brackets. And this is the capital I'm setting up. And now we need to use the GlideToVectorYou library. So here Glide doesn't work with the SVG files. So that's the reason I'm using this GlideToVectorYou. As all the URL in the API for the flag having the SVG URL. So for that we need the instance of our activity. So I'll take it in the constructor of this adapter, and then we'll pass it to the ViewHolder class. and then we'll pass the URL, URI.parse, then the URL and the view where we want to set that image. And now we'll implement our onBind view holder function, and we'll pass the list data or the country model, and the activity. So our adapter is ready now. Let's go back to our main activity and set it to the recycler view. Now we need to create another function where we'll be initializing our view model and we'll be setting up the live data observer. So first of all, let's get the instance of our view model. And then we'll get the ViewModel.get live data observer and we'll set up the observer on it. We'll check null here because in case of failure we are sending null. So if it is not null, then we'll set it to the adapter and we'll call notify dataset change. In case it is null, then we'll simply display a toast and we'll show an error message to the user. And then we'll call make API call function. And we are still missing one step, like we need a internet permission in our manifest file. So let's add those permission before we run our application. So let's double check. We have RecyclerView adapter. Inside our adapter we have everything on place. This is layout file, this is the interface, this is retrofit, this is model. Let's run our application and see how it look like. There you go. So you can see now the SVG file is downloaded, all the flags are downloaded. You can see the name, capital, region, everything on place. So you can see now, as I mentioned, the URLs are having the SVG. So for that only I use GlideToVectorYou. So guys, that's all for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any question, please ask me in the comment section. Thank you.